Hello and welcome to another episode of Red Dot Forum Camera Talk, the show about all things Leica. I am your co-host David Farkas, joined as always by Josh Lair.
Evening, everybody.
Over there producing the show, we've got our producer Jose Rivera.
Hello, hello.
And we have an exciting episode tonight. I would even say by popular demand.
Ooh. Popular is relative, but yes.
By moderate popularity demand.
This is a topic that we have been asked to do for a couple of years.
Yes.
And we've waited until the time was right, and then we just pretty much decided the time was right. So
And why, pray tell, was it the time was never right before? And I know the answer, so I'm asking you.
Yes. So we should probably tell them the topic, which is the Leica FOTOS app. That's Photos with an F. The FOTOS app is how you control and gain access to all of the Wi-Fi enabled Leica cameras on an iOS or Android device. Now, the reason we haven't done this episode before is Leica has a tendency to do many comprehensive and aggressive updates to the app for the betterment of their users, but to the detriment of us who are trying to have somewhat of an evergreen resource for this topic.
And ironically, the last time we discussed doing this, and I think we didn't do it because there was a last minute product launch and we switched it out. And wouldn't you know it, timed with that product release, there was a massive update to Photos, and it's like, we were reminded, this is why we haven't done it before.
So if you're watching this like in 2030 and the Photos app is on version like 61.2, I apologize if this episode is no longer relevant. But our goal is for as long as possible to make this a useful and informative episode.
Yes.
And what we're going to do is cover primarily these sort of 5 categories of current production Leica cameras that connect with the Photos app. If we have time, then we'll talk about a few of the older models that are Wi-Fi compatible. So just understand, this is not going to be how every single Leica camera that ever worked with Photos connects to Photos. This is more of a what's current and how does it work. But of course, a lot of this will still apply.
Yeah, and I think we need to also be clear, what's really cool about Leica and Leica Photos app. Let's start kind of at the top level and work our way down. It works with every single current production digital Leica. Okay, so if you have an MA or an MP, you're out of luck. It doesn't work with that, or an M6. But every single production camera, that's everything from the SL3, SL3S, I'm going to just name them all, Q3, Q343, M11P, M11 monochrome, M11,
M11D,
and M11D, as well as the Deluxe 8 and the Sofort 2. Okay, all of these cameras come with native support in the Photos app, and it used to be, way back in the day, there was separate apps for all different cameras. Leica long ago unified it into a central Leica Photos app that covers all of the cameras, and you'll see when we go to the connection that you actually select the camera you're looking for it to add.
Yes.
That being said, that's the current production. But we also have full support for previous generations, starting with, when did it?
I think
what's the earliest?
Probably the Q.
The original Q. Yeah.
Yeah, I know someone like the Celux had it.
Yep.
Now we're really deep cut now. Deluxe 109 had it. Deluxe 7.
Yep.
Q2, CL, TL, TL2.
SL601.
SL601. Yeah, they've been doing
SL2, SL2S.
Wi-Fi.
M10.
M10, yeah. There's a lot, more than we can remember. They've been doing Wi-Fi for a long time, and as David mentioned, it used to be a separate app for each camera, which was a huge pain, and now, of course, all consolidated into one.
Yes.
There was a fundamental shift a couple of years ago in the way that the cameras and the Photos app talk to each other. The earlier cameras, it was simply Wi-Fi. So you would turn on the Wi-Fi, you create a Wi-Fi network, and connect to the app, which is slow, but it did work. And later on, they added low-energy Bluetooth.
Yeah, or Bluetooth LE.
Yeah, right. What that allows you to do is connect much faster, much more reliably, and maintain a connection without draining the camera's battery, which is what Wi-Fi would do.
Correct.
And so the low-energy Bluetooth technology that's in the current cameras and is continuously improving, even in the last couple of years.
Well, I think it's up to Bluetooth 5, version 5 now.
All the versions, I don't know.
It's in the tech specs.
Yeah, it makes it significantly easier, as you'll see, even amongst the current product line.
Yes.
The newest ones that incorporate the latest tech are even easier to connect to the app than some of these slightly older ones. So we would expect over time, because this cannot be improved in firmware. This is a hardware change.
Exactly.
So we expect over time, as new models come out, for that technology to continue to get better.
Yeah. So the Bluetooth and Wi-Fi are actually chips. This is hardware within the camera that dictates what the speed will be in the connection time. And that's why we've seen such a fundamental improvement between, let's say, an M10 and an M11 or an SL2 and an SL3 in terms of the pairing speed, the reconnection speed, how stable that connection is, and also how fast you can transfer photos from the either camera memory, if it's an M11, or from the memory card to your phone or iPad.
Correct.
iDevice.
Yes. So as we go through the process on the current portfolio, you'll see that even amongst those cameras, there are some differences in the way they connect, and then you'll see the real differences if and when we have time to cover some of the older models. So that's important to understand, is that not all the cameras behave exactly the same way. I suspect over time, Leica will continue to streamline this to make it more consistent. Even though they can't change the hardware and the cameras, the app is getting better and better with every iteration. So we've been really happy to see how far they've come, and it hasn't been tiny improvements.
No, it's been big.
Much like the firmware updates, they're not just doing bug fixes and stability improvements, but we're seeing huge features, both at user requests and also things that Leica is coming up with. And one of the cool things about the app, unlike the Leica cameras and lenses, is the app, there's actually a feature request function.
Right, built in. Yeah.
So if you are using the app and you have an idea for a feature you think would be useful, you can actually just submit it right to the development team from the app.
And we actually we had a very cool meeting with this whole team. Was that last year?
Whatever Adobe Max was.
It was in the fall.
Yeah.
Yeah. So back in the fall, they were in town for this Adobe Max conference, and the result of that was actually the partnering with the Adobe, what is it?
Frame.io?
Yes, Adobe Frame.io for video work. So they were in town meeting with the Adobe people, and a month or two later, the partnership was announced. But they came by the store and basically barraged Josh and I. Like they just
so many questions. Yeah.
They just were like, well, what about this? And what about that? What do you think about this?
Yeah.
And what if we did this? And what about that? And tell us why you like this, and tell us why you don't like that. And what's your favorite feature? And what's your least favorite? Like, okay, whoa.
Yeah.
We need some food. It's like,
And a great example.
and they were just taking notes like crazy.
One of the things we talked about, and we were far from the only people to ask for this, was the ability to format the memory card in the M11D, which you could not do prior. And in fact, one of the gentlemen there was like, no, that was my idea, not to have it. And we were like, why? So sure enough, a month or so later or whatever, that feature was introduced. So I'm not saying it was our idea, but I'm just saying that shows you, even if they're saying we want it this way, they're listening to user feedback.
Yeah, and I think what's so cool is, they work very closely with the firmware development team. This is the Leica, I guess the user experience team, I think is their official name.
Fancy.
And they're both in-house teams. So Leica has in-house design teams, they have in-house firmware developers, and they have in-house app developers. And they all talk to each other, so you have this nice cohesion, and they can talk about different improvements simultaneously. So they develop something on the camera that also works with the app. And you'll notice pretty frequently when there is a new camera released or a new major firmware update for a camera, there's generally also a new Photos version. And we should also just mention for good practice, when there is a new version of Photos and or a new firmware version on your camera, you should reconnect the camera every time, because just to have the most up-to-date settings.
Yeah, so one of the other reasons we haven't done a Photos app episode is just the number of moving parts that are involved in connecting devices like iPads and iPhones to our streaming setup, and then showing you, and then this and that. And
we have them.
Yeah, it's a little bit. So this will be both an exercise in learning about the Photos app and also an exercise in troubleshooting our setup. But that's actually, we joke, but that's an extremely valuable thing. So if we have a problem, or if we create a problem intentionally, we'll then be able to show you how we work through that.
Sure.
Because no software works perfectly. I've had bugs with the Photos app. I've had a crash or two. It happens. So we're not sitting here saying everything works perfectly all the time. We're gonna not only show you how to use the app, but also demonstrate some troubleshooting techniques to clear things out, start from scratch, and just get things working the way they should. In fact, we did that an hour ago in this video. So
we did.
That's part of the process, and we're here for you for that. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to go through the whole process, start to finish, of connecting each one of the 5 categories of camera that are current. And we'll show you how to connect it, what the menu options on the camera are doing, and then how to operate it via the Photos app. Before we get there, the Photos app, I'll ask you, has 2 primary sort of core functions. That are sort of the use cases. Obviously, the settings, not specific settings, but 2 primary core functions.
Sure.
Before we get started, I'm going to ask you, just in general, to explain to the viewers the remote shooting function and then the viewing and downloading function.
Sure. And both of these features have actually been there since the first version of the app, which is also very impressive.
Yeah.
So I'll go over the remote function.
Yes.
Remote camera control. Essentially, you are accessing a live view feed from the camera, transferring wirelessly over Wi-Fi to either your phone or an iPad. You can see the exposure preview as if you were looking at the back of the camera screen. You can also adjust some of the settings, and that depends on the camera that you're using. So some of the settings can be changed for some cameras and maybe not for others. You can also tap to focus. You can shoot. You can change to video mode if you want. So it's a really handy tool, especially if in a few different use cases it comes in really handy. So for instance, we are actually going to demonstrate. We have a little macro setup here, and we'll show you. And that's generally pretty touchy. We were actually we just touched the table, and the shot was blurry. So if you're doing it remote with the app, you don't have to touch the camera. You have a remote control without any wires, and you can use that if you're photographing on a tripod outside, if you're doing some studio work inside. It's just really handy to have a remote session. And the iPad view is pretty large, actually.
Yeah, you'll see when we show that.
It's pretty luxurious. So that is the live remote shooting. The sneakiest way that I remember it first implemented was our colleague Kirsten. We had went to New York City in 2016. The Q, I guess, was about a year old at that time. And I remember we were sitting on the New York subway. We were there for an LSI meeting, but back then it was called LHSA. And she's sitting there on her phone on the subway. And at that time in 2016, there was no Wi-Fi in the subway. And I'm like, wow, you're getting service down here? That's amazing. And it looked like she was texting. And I'm like, wow. And I glanced over. No, she wasn't texting. She had the original Q hanging around her neck like this, and she was pointing like that and had the phone here and was basically photographing people across the subway car on the down low.
Very sneaky.
It's very sneaky. Yeah. So I've seen use cases like that where you want to be a little more discreet in, say, a street photo setting. And I was like, wow, that's pretty clever and sneaky, Kirsten. So that is the remote functionality. Mm-hmm. The other side of that is the playback, review, and transfer functions. And that also incorporates with the Photos gallery that sits on your device and also syncs cloud-based. So if you have multiple devices, the gallery will sync as well. And there, basically, you are looking at what is on the camera's either internal memory for an M11 or on the memory or the memory card. If you're on an SL body, there's 2 memory cards and you can access both. So you will see a thumbnail view of that, and you can scroll through and select images. You can rate images. You can favorite them with a star. And that's been a major improvement over the years with the Photos app is they went from kind of a simple viewing system to, say, being able to download just rated photos.
Correct, yeah.
And doing them in a batch. And also you can transfer, if you're shooting DNG plus JPEG, you can actually transfer the DNG only, you can transfer the JPEG only, you can transfer both. It gives you that a lot of flexibility in terms of your transferring. So for instance, if you want to have a completely mobile workflow, and we'll demonstrate this, you can shoot DNG, you can transfer the DNG to, let's say, your iPad, and there, right in the Photos app, there's a little Lightroom icon at the top, and you just click that, and it automatically sends that raw file over to Lightroom Mobile, and you can process it as if you were, on a laptop. And then you can send that back to Photos, and you can share it directly from there. It'll export in different sizes, so you can send it by text message to Facebook, Instagram, email as attachments, whatever you need to do with that image. And, it's just really amazing. You can do that. I mean, you could even do that from the phone, not just an iPad. So it's available in both iPad and phone version to have that kind of mobile workflow. So it's pretty handy. And then the last step of that, which I think is very cool, once things are in the Photos app, so let's say you have a fully processed image that you took with a Q343, you can send it to the Sofort 2, and you can make a print.
We'll get there, though.
We'll get there. So you can capture, edit, and print, and publish all on the go.
Yes. There's two other things I want to mention before we dive into this. Number one, given the number of variables here, there are a nearly infinite possible number of combinations of things. And I can already see in the chat, someone will say, I'm doing this happens, and I'm doing this happens. And we are happy to work through that. David and I have not tried every single scenario. So there are going to be times where we don't know the answer, but we're here to help you guys out just like always. So we'll do our best to kind of go through some of the scenarios that you are experiencing to see if we can replicate maybe a bug behavior or a workflow change to make sure that it's working for you. The other important thing I need to mention is this is not as common of a misconception now, but there's this sometimes people will ask me, oh, well, I'm on my home Wi-Fi network, but I can't find my camera. It's important to understand that this whole concept is the camera creates a Wi-Fi network on its own and connects to your device. You could be on a desert island. You could be on an airplane. Well, I don't know what the rules are for that. You could be on a private airplane.
No, they have Wi-Fi in place now.
Anyway, and there's no need for or use of an external Wi-Fi network. You are totally self-contained. In fact, if you're on your phone, your iPhone, for example, you actually will be disconnecting automatically from your home network and then reconnecting to the camera's network. So that's something important to consider.
It is, especially if you're using, say, like a shared, iCloud folder or something like that.
Correct. Yeah. So that's important to consider. For example, if you have an iPad that does not have cellular, you'll see that you won't, and you'll see this tonight. You don't have the option to geotag your images, which means to tag the latitude and longitude where the shot was taken, because that requires a cell signal.
Now, I want you to talk about that feature, because that's also something that was integrated. Way back when on the SL601 and on a few generations of the S camera, there was built-in GPS. On the VisiFlex 020, there was GPS for for M cameras and TL and stuff like that. Okay. Obviously, there's no GPS modules anymore. Why did Leica make that move, and how can people geotag their photos if they want to?
Yes. So what the app allows you to do is the app is smart enough to know your location based on your phone's GPS. Now, it doesn't do this automatically. It asks you for permission to do this, just to be clear. And if you enable it, as long as the Photos app is open on your phone, the phone can be locked. The app just has to be running in the background. And you've set up the pairing initially with your camera will automatically have the geolocation or the latitude and longitude of every image you take assigned to it. So when you open up Lightroom, for example, you can get the map view and you can see where you took all the photos. So, of course, this is requires your cell phone to have service and a GPS location. Now, of course, the GPS modules and the cameras were not great.
No.
And you really had to be somewhere in like a desert almost, like a clear field.
Yeah, it didn't work in cities really well. And sometimes it would take 10 to 15 minutes to find enough satellites.
But obviously now your phone is way, way better. So this is a far better workflow.
Yeah.
And because it's using the low energy, low battery consumption Bluetooth to do this, it's not draining the battery.
No.
I mean, it's draining it, I guess, tiny bit, but compared to using Wi-Fi all the time, which would drain significantly. So we'll show geotagging when we switch from the iPad that we have to the iPhone that we have, so you can see how that works. So we will get there. So we should start.
It is a cool feature, though.
Yes, I think we should start with the M11P because that one has, I think, the most to discuss. So what I'm going to do is we will walk you through.
Do you want to do the on your side? You can if you want.
Or you could do it. I'll do the computer part. You do the camera
Well,
part.
okay. Actually, the other thing we wanted to ask.
Yes.
As we're going through this, What is more interesting for you guys to see, the iPhone version or the iPad version? We will show both, and we'll probably alternate different cameras with different devices. But I am curious, and who's using what? You know, are most people using this on the phone, or are you going out and doing that mobile workflow with an iPad on location?
Right. Yeah, yeah, we should have asked that beforehand.
We should have asked that right up front so we could see like.
We're asking that now. So yes, because we're going to show both. I mean, the iPad is logistically easier for us in this studio environment just because it's bigger and better for us to hand to each other. But we do have David's handy iPhone here as well. So we can do, we can demonstrate on both, and we will do our best to do so. But again, there are an infinite number of combinations and scenarios that will present themselves, and we will try our best to work through.
And we'll alternate. So if we set up the camera right now on the iPhone, we'll do the next one on the iPad. Okay, so you'll see both.
So I'm going to see that. Well, I'm seeing the responses. Jose, maybe you can once they kind of are done trickling in, just kind of count them up.
Looks like a lot of iPad.
And do a quick.
I think you can actually do a quick survey. Yeah.
Can we do a survey?
Yeah, the little plus.
Well, it's too late. It's too late now.
No, you could do it. Yeah, just do it.
Click it. Buttons. The plus button?
Yeah, I think plus button.
Let's see. Oh.
I think it's more iPhones than iPads.
Oh, that's fine. It's already coming through. It's okay.
More iPhones?
Yeah, more iPhones.
Yeah. So, okay, fine. Well, we're going to show you on both. So, you want to start on what?
You want me to do it or you want to do it?
What are we starting on?
The M11P.
No, but are we starting on iPhone or
Yeah,
iPad?
let's do iPhone.
Oh, because this whole time we agreed to start on an iPad, but now we're starting on an iPhone?
Yeah.
Okay. That's what I like the iPhone better, personally.
Okay.
Easier to hold in my hands. Okay, so let's have some fun. We are going to now connect a Leica M11P to an iPhone. What generation is this?
It's a 15 Pro
15.
Max.
Oh, so this is old junk. Just throw this thing out.
What can I tell you? I can't afford the new phone.
So we'll start with the camera view. So
Yes.
David's overhead, and he will show you how to get the camera into the correct.
Don't worry, I'm cleaning the screen. Okay, here we go.
Nearby, you're gonna need that. Okay. First, we're gonna turn it on.
Turn it on.
Voice.
And we're going to go in the menu. And there's a little icon right here. And it's a little picture of a phone with a little Wi-Fi signal. You can access it right there on the command center, or you can go in the menu and do it. But I'm going to do it from the icon. Okay, so now we have connectivity options, and we should kind of talk through that one. So we have performance mode and eco mode. Performance mode is going to reconnect faster. It's going to transfer photos faster, but it will use a little bit more power when you are actively either doing remote control or transferring photos. Eco mode just is slower and uses less power. We typically would recommend the performance mode unless you want to live like it's, you know.
Yeah, I've not even bothered with the eco mode, to be honest with you, because I just have a spare battery in my pocket.
Right. So I would do performance mode, and then we're going to do pairing. Mm-hmm. Okay, and it says here,
the biggest problem with using your phone is I don't know your password, bro.
Yeah. You can see add the camera in the Leica Photos app. Okay, now we're going to switch over to Josh's view.
Okay, switch over to Josh and with the iPhone. Hey, it actually worked. We're going to go to Leica Photos, and you can see I didn't touch anything. I didn't do anything. The Photos app is searching for a Bluetooth signal from a compatible Leica camera. So as soon as David enabled the pairing on the M11P, the Photos app picked up on that signal and said, hey, do you want to pair this camera via Bluetooth? Mm-hmm. And the answer is yes. I'm going to hold this up so I'm not staring at the...
There you go.
Add camera. And now it is, okay, I say pair.
And I want to show, we're going to flip. Mm-hmm. It's discovering.
Yep, and we're going to hit setup.
Yep.
Right there on the bottom. Ready to use. Continue an app. Okay. Now, of course, the initial setup is always the slowest part, so bear with us here. Now here, we have a cool option. This is going to sync the date and time on your phone to your camera. This is helpful if you're not sure if the time or date is right, or if you've changed time zones. I don't usually do this because I tend to set the time and date on the camera ahead of time, and I want it to stay consistent. You know, if it drifted by a little bit, I don't want there to be photos that maybe not are in the right order by changing the time again. But it's going to depend on your use case. So you can turn this on or turn this off. For the sake of this particular demonstration, I'm going to do don't sync. So here we go. This one I'm going to turn on. So this is the geotagging we were talking about. And it tells you the location of your mobile device will be written to the image metadata when you take photos with your Leica. Very clear. We're going to turn on geotagging on. And now we are allowing it. So this is basically saying you can connect with the cable if you want, just FYI, which we can't unfortunately do because we're already using the iPhone's port to stream to the live stream. So sorry. We may try to do it by showing you the
Yeah.
We'll figure it out. It's going to hit continue. So now it is going to take the Bluetooth signal and use that to carry over the Wi-Fi signal and connect to the camera over Wi-Fi, because there are two different kinds of connections that the Photos app has. So here it's just telling you, hey, I'm about to connect to a device that is Wi-Fi but has no internet. That's what that on the top means. So
Yeah, and whoop, there was a message on the screen. This is all done, but we missed that one.
That's okay. We'll do this a few times.
Yep.
But again, what I want to mention is there's two states of connectivity for the Photos app. There's the low energy Bluetooth, which is a continuous connection, much like your Bluetooth connection with your car or your AirPods or whatever else. And that's all the time. And that's as long as the app is open and as long as you've enabled the pairing. So even if you minimize the app, lock the phone, as long as the camera is turned go and you haven't turned off the Wi-Fi.
We should show that.
The
blue light.
Oh, yeah. Can you go to David's overhead?
You can leave Josh on screen.
No, it doesn't matter.
Whatever.
Yeah, just you can see the blue dot.
Yep. So see here, right there, the blue light blinking. You can see that I can still use the camera and I'm in normal mode. I'm not in remote control mode. If you were in remote mode, you wouldn't have access to all of this. So I am just shooting regularly and you'll notice that blue light is flashing. Nothing is wrong. That just means that the app is open and it's connected over the low energy connection.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
And back to Josh.
Yes. So anyway, so there's the Bluetooth connection and then there's the Wi-Fi connection. The Wi-Fi is where you're actually able to control the camera and download images, full resolution images. The Bluetooth has still some functionality like geotagging and a few other things that we're going to show in a moment. So what we're looking at now is the sort of main home screen of the M11P's control functionality inside of the Photos app. If you had images on your memory card or your internal memory, you would see them in the bottom here where it says take a photo on your Leica camera to see it here. Obviously, I formatted this card so we could start from scratch. So there's nothing on there, but that will change.
And I'm going to take a photo.
Shortly.
I'll take a photo of...
okay.
Yeah.
Are we there? Well, we're not there yet.
Okay. No problem.
We're good. Don't worry. I just want to walk everybody through what you're looking at on the screen when you are beginning to take control of your camera. The first place that I tend to go is the icon on the top left. I can't actually point at it. No, it doesn't work.
I think you can hover tap.
No, doesn't work. That's okay.
Sorry.
So under the Leica dot, there's three buttons, so to speak. The first button on the left is a camera with like a little asterisk icon. I'm going to start there. That is how we change the settings of the camera. So if I tap on that, I can see all the various camera settings. Now, one thing that's unique, of course, in the M11P versus the M11 is the Leica content credentials. So we can sign our content if we want. I have that turned off. We can turn it on. We can put copyright, red dog. Forum,
yeah.
Produced by Josh Lair. Awesome. Okay.
A lot easier to type on this than on the camera.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. So now we're done with that. You can see if I go back, there's me. So now I will have this information in the content credentials of the file, which you can then interpolate out with the Adobe magical thing. Anyway, so this is a feature unique to the M11P, the M11D, and of course now the new SL3S has this as well. We go back to the main camera settings. We can also change our drive mode. We have a couple options here. Although interestingly enough, you can set bracketing, but you can't actually change the bracketing settings, which I find fascinating.
You should make a feature request.
I plan on it. Then we've got noise reduction, which of course is our long exposure noise reduction. Turn that on or off. Exposure metering, self-explanatory. And I like that they were all written out. It's not just like little icons, so it makes it super clear what each thing is. Here's where we could choose between our shutter type. Now, if you want to be super sneaky and using Kirsten's technique, you just use the electronic shutter and you won't even hear the camera taking photos. But you didn't learn that from me. Then we have another feature that we saw introduced with the M11, which is the variable DNG resolution. So you can shoot 3 different size DNG files depending on your needs. Here is where you could change that. Of course, we have white balance. You can see you have all the options here. You'll note that for the gray card, you have to do that on the camera. And if you had done that on the camera, which we can show later, it'll then come up here as your pre-configured gray card white balance. File format, self-explanatory. This, and we've talked about this kind of in passing in past episodes, we generally shoot DNG only. However, this is one situation where we may actually shoot DNG plus JPEG because The JPEG files are much easier and faster to get off the camera and have a little bit more flexibility using Leica looks, which you can't do on DNGs, which we'll get to later. So even though David and I 99% of the time shoot DNG only, the use case for DNG plus JPEG becomes easier to argue for when you're using the Photos app if you're frequently downloading your images onto your device, especially if you're going to download a lot of images and you don't want to fill up all the storage on your phone or tablet. So we'll put DNG plus JPEG for right now because we can. This is the most annoying feature on the app, not because of the settings, but because it uses a dash in self-timer in the title and then not a dash in the menu. And I'm so mad that I'm going to have to just email Leica about this, but that aside. And you have, of course, your JPEG settings, which include your basic styles, resolution, dynamic range. These are things we don't usually mess with. But again, because the app does allow you to download the JPEGs, you may actually benefit from making them monochrome. For example, if you change your film style to monochrome high contrast, this could be a cool way to get black and white JPEGs right on your phone without having to convert them afterwards. So food for thought. Next, we have our camera settings here. Focus aid, which is if the live view will magnify it when David turns the manual focus ring. We've got auto review. Now pay attention here because not all the camera settings in all the app functions let you turn auto review off. Another thing I haven't figured out. Here you can actually turn it off, which we like usually. And then these are your auto ISO settings. And I'm going to stop there for a second because it's a little unclear if you're not familiar with the name of that setting in the cameras menu. You might be wondering what maximum exposure time is. That is the slowest shutter speed the camera will use when the ISO is set to auto before it bumps up the ISO settings. So even though there's not a auto ISO settings menu with these functions in a submenu in the app, that's what these next two settings are for. Just want to make that clear. So max exposure time and maximum ISO for auto ISO. So that's where you could pick that. We'll just pick a random one. Cool. USB mode. This is if you're going to be tethering the camera to your phone or your computer or Lightroom or whatever. Unfortunately, again, we are limited in our ability to demonstrate this because we need the USB port so you can see that over there. Okay. Next, we've got the storage options. So this is, again, the same thing you would see in the menu, which is where your DNG and JPEG files are going to be. Of course, this will look different if you have a camera that has only, say, 2 SD card slots or an SD and a CF Express, or no internal storage at all and just one slot. So this menu is specific to the camera that you're working with. Camera standby, how long the camera will sit powered on before it goes to sleep. If you're using the geotagging, you want to avoid the camera going to sleep because then it will lose the Bluetooth pairing. We're going to force that to happen here and show you how to get that back. USB charging on or off. I don't know why you would turn this off, but who knows. MISO, so this is the ISO that is active when you have the camera's ISO dial on the M position. So this is handy to have like just an extra freebie ISO setting of your choosing.
I usually set it to 12,500 or 10,000.
Yeah, there we go. And then we have format storage, which is of course the feature that we got after complaining about it, where you specifically to the M11D, but this could be useful on any camera, where you can actually format the SD card or the internal memory. You can see in this case, we don't have an SD card in the camera, so the only option is format internal memory. If we had a card in there, you would see that come up as well. And the last one, but of course the most important one by a huge margin, is it shows you your firmware version. Now, you can update your firmware with the app. Unfortunately, I didn't actually have a camera in my radius at work that wasn't updated because I'm so fanatical about updating firmware, so I can't demonstrate this to you unless one of these Soforts is out of date. But the camera is actually smart enough, or excuse me, the app is actually smart enough not just to know the firmware installed, but to know if there is a firmware update. This is huge. I think there was a question about updating in the app versus the computer. David and I both are still old school, where we use the memory card approach that we've talked about on the show many times. I think the firmware via the app is getting better all the time. I don't know. What do you think, David?
I still do it old school.
Yeah, David has the old school approach, and so do I. But that's okay.
No school like the old school.
So this is all the camera settings you have available to you with the M11P. And I really want to emphasize that I'm going through all this because this menu is camera dependent. And each camera that we show you tonight, this menu is going to look different based on the model and the features. And the features that Leica has chosen to allow to be passed through to the Photos app because you can't do everything. You can do a lot. I think the M11P has the most controls, and then it kind of goes down from there as you change models. So once we have all the settings we want, I can tap the close button on the top right. Now, continuing our review of the 3 icons underneath the Leica dot, the next one, we need to be pointed at something interesting. You want this?
Macro, yeah.
We didn't plan this too far in advance. Get this. Fiddle, 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 fiddle. Here we go. So we are going to do a little macro photography.
Do you have a plate for this?
Right there. Everything you need, David, is at your disposal when Josh is here, okay?
Wow.
That's right.
Wow.
Just saying, I'm on it. Prepared.
Wow. Okay.
So we're going to put the M11 with the hand grip and the 90 macro
Yay.
on the tripod thingy.
The tripod.
Yes. Okay.
And we don't need a cable. Oh, so they're not seeing that. So here.
Ooh, live view. So what I just did there, just to show you guys again, was wait till we get to the bigger view. Can we switch back, Jose? Yay. Is the round circle in a circle thing in the center underneath the Leica dot is how you activate the camera control. I'm going to tap that button, and we're going to see the live view experience, which David you have to turn, extend the adapter.
I am.
Do it better. There we go.
Well, it's a 90, so a little bit more working distance here.
So we have our sweet Leica ZM2 monochrome that is for sale on our website.
Does that look...
Looks pretty good. I got to take my hands off the table.
Hold on.
So what's cool is David is using the live view on the camera, but I can see on the phone him focusing in real time.
That looks pretty good,
which
right?
is crazy.
Okay.
Awesome. So now
hands off.
That's right. Hands off. So now we are seeing
let me go jump back to the main
the
view.
live view of the M11P via the Photos app, and we have a couple of things happening here. On the top left, we can see the battery status of the camera, and then on the bottom, we have a couple of different controls. If I tap I'm going to start sort of a left to right here. So I can tap the left button, and I can change my ISO to whatever I feel is appropriate for the situation, or I can tap on A to have auto. So let's pick ISO 800, sure.
I should also note,
yes.
just as I'm watching, the settings actually change right on the live view.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so the ISO is actually just jumping up and down as Josh is playing with the app.
Yeah.
And I haven't touched anything.
It's pretty wild.
Yeah.
Okay, so you'll notice that the second icon over, the F, is grayed out. This is because, of course, this is an M camera with a mechanically operated aperture ring on the lens that is only operated by your hand. So until they invent a little hand that comes out of the phone and changes it for you, that is not even going to be visible on the phone. So the aperture is purely whatever you have set on the lens.
I have F8.
And David has F8. Okay. Next, we have our shutter speed. Because David has the shutter speed dial of the camera on A,
Yep.
we are in aperture priority mode. I can, of course, change that to my liking and pick whatever shutter speed I feel is good. But I'm going to keep that on A for the sake of, come on. No, it's just a little laggy. It doesn't like it when I do that too fast. Yeah. Well, it's just because it's going to change the view. So we're going to go back. Oop, there we go. Getting myself. Okay, back to A. Come on. There we go. Okay. The last icon to the right is EV. That's our exposure compensation. I can tap on that and I can actually change.
Let's bring it down a little bit.
Our exposure compensation. Come on.
Maybe -1.
Well, I fear the ISO is, here we go. Let me go back on auto. That's better.
Perfect.
Oh, it's not changing on the, because I don't think the M changes.
No.
I think you need, see, this is the thing that I was saying, like all the different scenarios.
Right.
I know in the SL3 it will change the preview, but it doesn't on the
yeah.
M, which is okay. So now we can see we're at 12,500 ISO and automatic. Aperture is on the lens. Automatic shutter speed at 1/360 and negative 1.7 stops of exposure compensation dialed in. We have two other things going on here. We have the ability to set our self timer. And if I click on self timer, which you can't see me doing, but self timer is enabled. And then if we go back to photo, I can click on the three vertical,
The hamburger menu.
the hamburger menu on the bottom right. Yep. And this is going to be some of the settings you could have changed in the main settings menu, but it just is a quicker access to our DNG resolution, JPEG resolution, white balance, exposure metering, and file format. So those are just quick ways to access some of the more used settings just in case. I wish this was customizable. It is not. That is another feature request. Okay. So of course, the last button is the big round white one. That is the shutter button. I will now take a photo with the camera. So now I've just taken a photo with the M11P. David didn't do anything. He's just chilling.
I promise.
I'm going to tap the X icon on the top right. And then now you can see from where there was nothing before in the middle, now we have the gallery, so to speak, of what's on our camera. So we have one picture because we've only taken one. I can tap on it and I can see.
It's a little dark.
Zoom in, a little dark. So let's actually tweak that. Let's go back to our live view.
And let's since we're on a tripod here, why don't we go to a
I'll go
lower
to a
ISO.
lower ISO. I'll go to 400.
Perfect. 1/8 of a second. Okay.
There we go. EV -1.
Maybe take that up to minus, I don't know, minus a third.
Okay.
Let's try that.
Oop, I'm in the wrong. I'm in ISO still. Sorry.
No
ISO
problem.
400. There we go. EV. Minus a third.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So we're ISO 400, automatic shutter speed, and it doesn't matter because we're on a tripod. So we're going to take a photo. You hear that was much longer. They probably can't hear that on the...
Now they can't hear.
Yeah, okay. I'm going to tap the close. There we go. Okay. Oh, there we go. Look at that.
Looks sweet.
Gorgeous.
Oh, that
Look at that. Look at that incredible German-made bespoke watch movement featuring lovely... yeah, okay, I'm done. But anyway, this is the ZM2 monochrome, which looks sick. So,
Now, I think it should be pointed out.
yes.
Did you notice how quickly it transferred the full file?
Pretty fast.
Pretty fast.
Well, it's not transferred yet, I should mention, just to be clear. What we're looking at
preview.
is a preview on the back of the camera, just on our phone. This photo, when you see it in the
Gallery.
main on black gallery here, only exists on the camera. If I were to tap this bottom right arrow under Leica Gallery, that's going to show you what's on our device, meaning on our phone or tablet. So if you don't see those watch photos on here, it's because I haven't downloaded them yet. So the photos that you're seeing, these two watch photos, only exist on the camera, and the app is simply acting as your playback screen in this case, right? So if I decide that I like this photo, I can swipe up first to see my settings. And look how clever it is. It knows it's the macro adapter M. And you can see there our longitude and latitude. I guess they know where the studio is now.
Oh, no.
Which is in Hollywood, Florida.
Black that out.
The Dale photo building. You know, it's not a secret.
All right.
They used to come see us there all the time back in the
man.
day.
We're in trouble now.
Um,
We are in trouble now.
So you can see all the different settings that were used. And now important, you can see now it's giving you an aperture value. But remember, just like using this in Lightroom or Photoshop, it is purely a guess. It is not necessarily a reflection of the actual aperture that you used. In this case, it's pretty close. It's f8.9, but
It's pretty close. Yeah.
just going to ignore that for now.
Okay.
On the screen, we have a couple options, so I can swipe down to get back to our full view. If I press and hold, I can favorite it. I can also tap tap the star on the bottom right, and you'll see why that's useful later. I will favorite that for now. I can also tap the far bottom right trash can icon to delete it, which I'll actually do with the other one. So I can swipe right to continue to browse images on the card. I'm actually going to delete that one, and it says, this photo will be deleted from your Leica. Delete.
Deleted.
It is gone. Now, we don't normally delete in camera, but I'm just trying to demonstrate all the awesome features. So, we have a couple options here. I can tap the bottom right, but not rightmost, the middle icon to share this. And you can see now, I'm pointing at, I'm doing a bad job pointing at the phone.
Point at the other
Pointing
screen.
at the screen, you can see the different options we have. So we want JPEGs only, so I can then hit share, and then I can copy it. I can send it to myself from David's phone. This is how you would share it. Easy enough. Or, more importantly, because we're limited what we can do with the photo in the preview function we're looking at now, I want to download it into my Leica gallery. So I'm going to tap the download button on the bottom left. And now the difference between this and the share button is it's exiting the app. Whereas here, we're keeping it in the app and we're just downloading it into the gallery. And you'll see that in a moment. I'm going to do just the JPEG for now. We're going to hit download, and it is now done. That was pretty fast.
Let's try the DNG.
Okay, let's try the DNG. If it'll let me, hold on, let me go back out. Come here. Okay.
Ooh.
Yeah.
It says downloaded.
See, like, this is one of those things that, like, we don't try every single scenario.
Oh, no. What do we do?
Let's see. DNG there. No, I guess that's
Wow, that's
Well,
interesting.
we'll figure that out while we're working. 'Cause
Okay.
it shows you how often I download JPEGs.
We'll take another shot.
Which is never. Anyway, okay.
You can take another shot.
Well,
Because we should show the
right.
difference.
Yes,
in
we
speed.
should, yes. Okay.
Yeah. There we go. One more shot. And done. Okay, so now go back to the larger view, Jose.
Download.
Yeah, perfect.
DNG. Okay.
And ready? Everyone has their timer out. And downloading, and you can see the progress bar now.
It's going. It's going.
Taking a little longer than JPEG.
It's going. Well, it's way, way bigger, obviously.
It's about, well, it's a 60 megapixel.
Yeah, but it's going okay. And now that's done. Okay, cool. And now we can go to our Leica gallery. Now, I really want to explain, again, the differences here. What you're seeing, the on black view, is the camera's contents, meaning the images, the files that are on the camera that you're connected to. When you hit the Leica gallery on the bottom, this is any image you've downloaded from any Leica camera while using the app. That will all live here in the Leica gallery. You can see the little star icon on the one image that I favorited. So if we have our selects during a shoot, or ones that be like, oh, I love this one, I'm gonna make sure I edit this one right away. There's more features on top of that, which I'll show you in a moment. So we can now tap on our start image. And the reason that I did a JPEG is if I scroll between these two, the DNG here and the JPEG here, you'll see there's an icon that the JPEG file has that the DNG file does not. And that is this little white circle and black circle together on the bottom right. Those are Leica looks. It used to be that if you wanted to use a Leica look, which is a pre-developed color and tone preset that Leica provides for free.
Like a recipe, yeah.
Exactly. It used to be you had to load them into the camera and apply them on the file in the camera. So you would connect the camera to the Photos app, which you still can do, and you download the Leica looks into your camera. The thing is, Leica looks are only compatible in camera with Maestro 4 processors. So SL3, SL3S, Q3, Q343. But what if you want to use the Leica looks on some of your other files? What do? Well, one of the features they added in the Photos app was the ability to apply Leica looks in the app to any JPEG file. So it doesn't have to be from one of those Maestro 4 cameras. It can be from any camera. And that's one of the benefits of doing the DNG plus JPEG workflow is I can have that JPEG file to mess around with my Leica looks. So to do that, you just tap on the little black and white circle at the bottom. And now we can choose our different Leica looks, and you can actually control the strength of them. And what's cool, and you're not going to see much of a difference, unfortunately, on this.
Kind of black and white.
I have to find one where you'll like. There we go. Slightly different. This is a terrible example for this, but it's okay. One of the things you can do on the app that you cannot do with Leica looks in camera is control the intensity, which is awesome. So there's a little slider here. I can control the strength. Gotta find one that actually looks different. There we go. Perfect. So I can go from almost no impact to full strength. And if I like that, I hit my little checkbox at the top. I can either save this, meaning you're overwriting the original JPEG, or I can save it as a new photo. Save it as a new photo. And
so
now,
it's like a variant.
And now if you look at my gallery, I now have another photo, which means I have another photo on my phone, because if it's in the Leica gallery, that means it is on your device, meaning on your iPhone or tablet. That is the key difference between what you're seeing up here and what you're seeing down here, is if it's up top, it's in the camera. If it's down below on white, it is on your device. So this is everything you've downloaded. Of course, you can delete it from here if you want, but it also is deleting it from your device. So if I delete this sepia tone lovely masterpiece, you get a warning message that says this photo will be deleted from your iCloud Photos on all your devices. So you're deleting it completely. It's not just deleting it from your Leica gallery, because your Leica gallery is simply showing you what is on your device. I want to mention that. Is that clear?
Please delete it.
Okay, it is not.
No, what'd you do?
I know, I'm a terrible person. So again, we have our Leica looks. These will be better on
Color. I mean, I could take a picture of Oscar.
Yeah, we can do that next.
Here, yeah. Do you want to take another? I'll just remove macro.
Okay.
And point it over.
We're gonna. You can go back to us, I think, right?
Yeah. Here we go.
There we go. David is going to reconfigure while I take a little stretch break.
You're still in remote mode.
Oh,
okay. I got it.
We're making magic. Point at Jose. Someone says Jose is very far away, and there's a lot of things in between Jose and this camera, chairs and cables and doodads of various
Jump through obstacles to get here.
All right, here we go.
Is there any way to see the histogram? No, unfortunately not. I think that's because of the way that the live view overlay works.
Okay.
It doesn't output that, but that's a good feature request. So
Josh, can I ask you a quick question?
Yeah.
Let me see. I lost it. Can you on the M11D? Is there a way to transfer the internal storage onto the SD card?
I don't think so. I don't have an M11D here to try, but I've had that question before, and I don't believe you can do that. I don't think I would want to do that, although maybe. I get why you're asking that. Okay, I'll come back to you on that.
You want to take a
I
shot?
should get my hands on an M11D.
Take a shot.
Okay, hands off table. Friendly Oscar the Bear. Excellent.
Should be in focus.
Playback. So to get to that, by the way, quickly, I just tapped the image icon on the bottom left. That's like your quick playback. So this, you can see the little Oscar the Bear there in the corner. Tap that. Look at that. Look at that masterpiece. Gorgeous, gorgeous.
And there's some color, so we can work
So
with
I'm going to download the JPEG so we can play with the looks. That is done. Super fast. Now we will go to our gallery. There he is. We can go to our Leica looks. Classic. Yeah, there's too much. Need like, oh, there we go. You can see it. Okay, there we go. The black and white ones are the more obvious ones. This is really better on like street and landscape photos. Like an on black photo of a teddy bear.
I know, right? Yeah.
But you get the idea. You get it. Like you can play around with the Leica looks, and you can always go back or close, whatever you want. So that is what you're going to see on the main screen. On the last couple things before I go on to another really, really, really cool feature, or two features that the M11P has that are unique to M11's connected to the Photos app. We'll get there.
We should also show how to get to Lightroom from the DNG version. So if you go to the DNG one.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that icon only shows up for a DNG.
Correct. Oops, I got to do it in the Leica gallery. So you can see on the bottom left, so I'm going fast here. I don't see it when I look at the image where it's on black gallery because, again, I'm browsing what's on the camera. I'm going to close that, go to my gallery of images on my device, and here I have a Lightroom.
All the way at the bottom.
Can I click on it?
Yeah.
Dooby-dooby-doo. Oh, I don't want you to log in.
Maybe. Oh. I can log in off camera here.
We'll play with that later. Okay, so we'll get back to that, I promise. But all the cameras can do that.
I'll log in on this one while you're doing that.
Yeah. Okay. So what I want to show is just a few of the other things happening on this camera control screen. If I tap on the sort of descending lines icon, that's sort of, I really wish I had a better, I think a laser pointer. Basically, not the far right little checkbox, but the three lines going down, getting smaller. If I tap on that, that's a filter view, so I can see my favorites, what I've downloaded. This is just a filter view. This is really convenient if you just want to see your favorites. So if I apply filters and I had, let's say, 1 million photos on here in the camera and I favorited some, I could easily just view my favorites, which is cool. And you can see there's now a red dot on the icon there that I clicked on to show you that you're in a filtered view. I'm going to go back to resets.
I need access to my email on my phone.
It's so funny because like the struggle that we all go through.
Oops,
I'm going to go reset, apply filters. There we go. So we'll get there. I promise. You have your email on your computer or just on your phone?
In the computer.
Okay, I'm going to give you the mouse.
Thanks.
I told you we'd be doing some troubleshooting on the air, so bear with me here. And then the last icon, the little checkbox here, is how you can select multiple images, either for download, deletion, or whatever. So I can pick a few here, and I can download all of these, share all of them, delete all of them, whatever I choose. The last icon that I have not covered, probably there's two, or I guess there's three. Man, we got a lot to cover. Okay. Okay. The next icon.
We're getting there.
The next icon is the download assistant. That is the downward arrow following a line. So under the Leica dot, the third icon to the right. If I click on that, this is a way to quickly download only certain types of images. What it's really useful for is downloading all your favorites if you're favoriting either in camera or in the preview section of the app. I can't say that I do this a lot, but it is, where'd our view go? Oh, there it is. Oh, I think I'm just like messing with the cable. Everything's so delicate here, okay? Trying. I think this is going to be useful if you're using the favorites function a lot. I have not experimented with the download assistant yet, to be totally honest with you, because it's just not really the way that I work. I'm going to have to try, because I do think that it could be useful, especially if I'm favoriting in camera or favoriting when I have a few minutes sitting on a park bench somewhere, oh, favorite, and then I get to the restaurant, I get to the hotel, and I just quickly download all my favorites, and then I can just edit those. But because I'm not really doing that favorites workflow, this doesn't apply to me too much. I'd be curious if anyone watching does that, so that they can share their experience with it. Anyway, so that's the download assistant. I just prefer to download one at a time or a few at a time by hitting the checkbox on the top right and then picking, a few to download. It's just more intuitive to me, I guess, because I can see exactly what's being downloaded. The last two icons on the top. So on the top left, we have our Leica looks. This is not going to show you much other than what the looks are because I'm not attached to a Leica looks compatible camera right now. So this is just showing you what the different Leica looks are. The last icon on the screen on the top right is to disconnect from the Wi-Fi, not to disconnect from the camera entirely, because when you disconnect from the Wi-Fi, you still have the Bluetooth connection active. So I'm going to tap this little camera with a cross through it icon that you see on the very, very top right, and that's going to take you back to this familiar home screen, and it defaults to the gallery view. I'm going to swipe down, enjoying Leica photos. Look at this. This is hilarious.
Nice.
Not now, thank you. Maybe later. Anyway.
This one's set up with Lightroom.
Okay, good. I'm going to swipe down and I can see the M11P as one of the cameras I connected to. And what's really important, and to address a question we had earlier, you can't rename this, but it does show you the serial number of the camera right here for that reason. So if you have two M11Ps, maybe a black one and a silver one, and you're connecting to both, you just have to know which one is which based on the serial number, really just the last 2 or 3 digits, to know which one is which. So that is how you quickly know the differences between the same camera if you're connected to more than one. Now, on this home screen, whatever, you would see a list of all the cameras you've connected to, and this list will grow as David and I continue to add cameras to the phone. Although I'll probably have him show the iPad next.
Yeah.
That's okay. However, the reason I cover the M11P first, because I knew it would take the most time by a long shot, because it has 2 functions that none of the other cameras have. So this is applicable to any M11, just not SL3, Q3, etc. 2 things. First, I'm going to tap the little ellipsis icon, the 3 dots on the right side. You'll see I have a couple of settings here. Quick remote, background transfer, geotagging, date and time sync, remove camera. Going from the bottom, remove camera is obvious. That completely removes it from the app, and you have to do the whole pairing process again. Not ideal unless you're having some troubleshooting problems, then yes, you should do that. Date and time sync, you are prompted with the date and time sync when you first connect to the camera. If you hit no by mistake and we're like, no, I actually want to do that. It's okay, you still can just by clicking the 3 dots, and you can turn on your date and time sync if you so choose. Next, we have geotagging, which again, we were prompted to enable or disable when we initially connected the camera. If you change your mind, you either want it on or off, you can easily go back and change that here. The other 2 features are the ones that are unique to the M11P. Quick remote is really, really cool. Normally, to control the camera, you have to go into the Wi-Fi. Here we go. Sorry about that. Just a finicky adapter.
Take out the other.
Oh,
I don't need this.
okay. Now you
Now I did it.
Now you broke it. I told you we're gonna have more problems with our adapters than we are with our.
Oh, there it
You should see this dongle situation. This is dongle-licious. Look at this.
goes. Oh, now you broke it again. Good job. Good
We're
job.
so professional. I love it. Hey, this is free. Okay, I don't want to hear it. The show is free, not the camera. Okay, so if you want to control the camera, normally, we lost it. Sorry, because we kept unplugging and replugging the phone. Is the camera asleep?
The camera is asleep.
There you go. Great example of troubleshooting. Camera fell asleep, turns off the Bluetooth, because of course, the whole point of sleeping, of the camera sleeping, is to conserve energy. So it's going to disable all of the functions.
Yep.
So go ahead, hit the menu button.
Okay, so I'm waking the camera up.
Yep.
And there we go.
Thank you. So this is what you'll see if your camera falls asleep. Clearly, we should change our sleep settings so we don't have that.
Clearly.
But this is good troubleshooting, because I'm like, oh my gosh, what's happening? Like, oh, the camera took a little nappy nap. That's okay. I could use one of those. You wouldn't think so, because I seem like I've had 25 cups of coffee, but I can assure you.
We only got 23.
I haven't done anything this morning. Okay, so now we're joining the camera Wi-Fi. So this is something to be aware of, that if you want to maintain that low energy Bluetooth connection, you have to keep the camera awake. This is just a power saving thing. The reality is, the battery life on the M11 is so good, and you, as you know from watching the show, you should always have a spare with you. This is not a problem. So actually what we're gonna do right now is I'm gonna go to my settings. I'm gonna go to the camera standby, and we're gonna turn it to off. So we're just gonna stay on.
Great.
So I'm gonna go back to my top right icon, swipe down, like I was saying, normally to control the camera, you have to enable the Wi-Fi, start draining the battery, go into live view, all this rigmarole. What if you just want to fire the camera wirelessly, like a wireless cable release, without having live view and all the other stuff? That's what Quick Remote is for. So without having to go into the camera and enable the Wi-Fi, just on the Bluetooth, you can fire the shutter using the Quick Remote feature. Simply tap the 3 dots, tap on Quick Remote, and you'll see this whole viewing viewfinder is not supported in Quick Remote. That's okay. We can still change our settings, and I can take a picture with the Quick Remote. Here we go. Come on. Did it freeze on me? What did you do?
I didn't do anything.
Well, this is good. I like it when things freeze, because then it shows you that, let's see. Oh, no, it didn't freeze. What did I do? Hold on. Quick Remote. Okay.
And go.
And work. It worked earlier. I love it. I love it. Oh, let's see. Let's see what's happening. Could just be, let's see. Let's make sure that we're connected. Hold on.
Okay.
This is good troubleshooting. So I'm making sure my Wi-Fi is working.
My display came on.
That works fine. Okay, good. Okay. Just making sure we're doing our thing. Sorry. Okay. Swipe down. Quick Remote.
Well, what's the error message you're
There we
getting?
go. No, I was going too fast. Here we go.
And you got to want it.
Apparently I don't want it enough. Let's see.
Interesting.
I promise you this worked earlier.
Yep.
But this is fine. Let's troubleshoot it. So let's see. So let's do, we know that that's working. Cool. Okay. We know, let's make sure that our, So, okay, so I clicked on back and transfer this to make sure that it's doing its thing. Oops. Give it a sec. So it sees the settings. Okay. Cool. Yeah, I know. I wish Quick Remote was on all the cameras. I don't know why. There's probably some secondary reason we don't have that.
I would love to have it on ASL.
Let's put it on. Let's change a couple settings here, just for the sake of it. Okay, so that's working good. So timer's working. We can get into our settings here. Okay, cool. There we go. I don't know what happened there. That's okay. Feedback request.
Yeah.
But I'm serious. Like I said at the very beginning, no software is perfect, and I'm willing to accept the occasional bug, although like this is good feedback for Leica if you're watching. But now it's working, so.
The camera's taking pictures too. I'm just
Can't
saying.
hear it.
Yeah.
No, I like I said, I'll be honest. When there's a problem, like we're gonna work through it together. I'm not gonna try to like sugarcoat it. Like
Sure.
Bugs happen, we work through them together.
There you go.
Now we've got Quick Remote. So to get back to the important part here, Quick Remote allows you to control the camera without the Wi-Fi running, without the live view, thus therefore preserving battery life while having a very sophisticated wireless remote release.
There.
That is the summary. So,
Perfect.
last thing that is unique to the M11 family is background image transfer. So 3 dots, background transfer. Why are you doing this? There we go. I think I'm just going too fast.
Yeah.
It's like needs time to do its thing.
I mean, you talk too fast.
I know.
You use the app too fast.
So what background image transfer does is it will send a preview, meaning a low resolution JPEG, of either every single image you take to your device continuously or just images that you favorite in the camera. So let's do all photos for right now. Hit save. And what's going to happen is without actually going into the camera, meaning without...
I'll start taking some pictures.
Yeah. So what's happening now is the camera is using the Bluetooth to send a low resolution preview to the iPhone. The downside to this is that if you leave this on while you're doing this, it will send every single shot you're taking as a preview to your phone or your iPad, and you end up with 1 million shots. This is fantastic for a studio
you should
environment.
Swipe up and show them. So you see the images?
It's going. Yeah, it's transferring. Yeah. This is fantastic for shooting tethered in a studio environment or really anytime where you need to be reviewing every single picture on your device. It's important to understand that background transfer doesn't work if you click. If I were to click on the M11P and activate the Wi-Fi and get into the live view settings, all the things we just covered, that turns off background transfer. It only works when you're in this sort of outer view where you see the M11P here. This will work even if the phone's in your pocket and the phone is locked. As long as the camera has been paired, as long as the app is open, even if it's in the background, as long as it's open, the camera's paired and awake, it will transfer every single image you take as a preview into your Leica Photos gallery and the Photos app on your iPhone. So I don't know if this is really practical for like the street shooter type. I mean, maybe everyone's use case is going to be different, but just the fact that you have this function is cool. And if you just do it with favorites, of course, it's only going to transmit your favorites. You can see all of our images are here. Now you can see that we know that these are background image transfers, because if you look on the top left of this image that we took earlier, it says JPEG, and I scroll one more, I see a little eye, like a preview icon. That's why I know that's a background image transfer. So it's a low resolution JPEG. I could imagine like in a studio environment, if you're working with a client or an agent or whoever, and they're sitting in a director's chair with their latte, and you're shooting the model, and they've got a nice big iPad right there, and you've got background image transfer turned on, and they're just watching the photos come through almost instantly as you're shooting, and they can say, hey, like change this look, change this lighting, whatever. This is the modern equivalent of shooting tethered. Unfortunately, it's only on the M11P for now, but I'm imagining that we'll see this get expanded over time. And my guess is the region is a little bit buggy is because this is a brand new feature. So maybe Leica still has work to do. And that's okay. Of course, just don't fix it tomorrow. So this show is still relevant for at least 24 hours. And that is pretty much
that's it, right?
Everything. I think this is pretty much everything that we
for the M11.
For the M11P. So let's come back to us. That was a long marathon talking session.
Woo. All right. So why don't we break and see if there's any questions on that before we move on to iPad and other, Q and SL cameras.
You're talking about the next camera, so I
know.
Leave my voice.
Woo. I was taking a nap over here. I don't know about you.
I hear the snoring in the background.
Right.
David.
All right, let's see. Let's see. I do not update software on photos, and perhaps the pros or cautions if one did.
Perhaps the what?
The pros and the cons if one did. Updating the software on the Photos app.
I don't think there's any danger. I mean,
no, even if the app freezes, the firmware is loaded by the app and then updated in the camera. I think the big advantage here is that it tells you there's an update.
Yeah.
So if you're not one of the cool kids who goes on Red Dot Forum.
And it downloads it in the background, yeah.
If you're not one of the cool kids who goes on Red Dot Forum to see firmware updates, and if you're not sure there's a firmware update, just connect the Photos app to your camera, and it will tell you. That's probably the most useful feature, because there's no other way, short of going on Red Dot Forum or Leica's website, looking at your camera version, looking at our the posted version, seeing if they're different. That's one way to find out. Or just connect the app.
Yeah.
And it tells you.
I don't see a downside. We're just the old dogs. We have hard time with new tricks.
I know, whatever. But it's okay. It does work. Some people, I know some customers who love it. So.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right. We got a couple of questions about connecting better without a camera case. Is this true?
Yeah, I haven't tried this. I brought a couple of cases we can play with. I want to make sure we at least cover
the basics.
The more cameras first, because man, it's already after 9.
Yeah, that took a while. I'm gonna go on a limb and say I don't think it's gonna be an issue. You're already going through a metal body, although I believe there is like a plastic area where the Wi-Fi comes out.
An arctic mono case has a metal lining. The Leica cases do not.
Yeah.
So maybe an arctic mono case would interfere with a bit more.
It all has to do with where the antenna is.
Yeah, I haven't tested this enough to give you a really good answer, but it's a good question. I think what I have to do is just try different cases and just test downloads.
I was just saying, we need like an Arch Shimano Faraday cage version, that completely blocks all wireless signals.
All right.
That way you can't be tracked.
What else we got?
All right. Can you walk through geotagging with the Photos app?
We did.
Well, we did. We showed that. It's pretty easy. I mean, it's just on or off, and you can do it when you're prompted, when you pair it, or when you go.
Now, here's a good question as a follow-up.
Yeah.
Does the Photos app need to be running on the phone in order to geotag?
Yes.
Or it has to be active, right?
Yes, because it's all about the Bluetooth pairing. So the camera needs to be awake and the Photos app needs to be running. You had to have had paired them at least once.
Yeah.
And remember how I said that when you back out of the Wi-Fi view and go to the list view and you're still on Bluetooth, that's the view that you just leave the app running in the background, and it's constantly connected to the camera via low energy Bluetooth.
Right, but if you swipe to clear the app and it's not in your little card file,
right,
it's not going to geotag.
Correct.
I need to make sure that people understand that. They're like, well, I did it and it didn't work.
Yeah.
This way.
There you go.
All right. If one has two cameras of the same model, can one rename so that they're listed as the same?
Well, I mentioned that.
Yeah, it's by serial number.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there a way to see the histogram or highlight clipping on the phone?
I mentioned that too.
And that
You can't.
you should make a feature request.
I agree. That would be cool to see that.
cool.
It's probably something with the way that live view is output over Wi-Fi, I
Yeah.
guess. But
But-
I agree. It would be cool.
Make a feature request. They actually read every single one of those.
They do. Yeah.
All right. Then somebody asked, so
Like,
do you
why did we get 300 feature requests for like one
Sorry in
day?
advance.
Yeah.
Sorry in advance.
There's a question that says, so do you just walk around with the camera on to avoid it disconnecting? Will the battery last long enough for a typical outing without turning it off?
I mean, I have not noticed a significant impact on battery life from that. I mean, it's such a low power consumption that the other things you're doing with the camera drain it much faster. I generally turn off the camera auto shut off. I've talked about this for the last 5.5 years for one reason, which is if I'm out taking pictures and the camera's off and I go to take a picture and there's even a microsecond delay between it taking the picture and I miss that shot, well, then I've completely defeated the purpose of why I'm out.
Right.
So just bring an extra battery, bro. Sorry.
Okay.
What else?
I think that's it for now.
All right.
Okay. All
Now
right.
it's David's turn. David's going to show us the SL3, which is right here, and how that connects to the Photos app. Well, Josh,
Why isn't the bracket on that one?
while Josh takes this one, has a wrench, so well, okay. Stand by. While Josh takes a nap, David will demonstrate.
And I have Lightroom on here, so we're all good. And I'll show that kind of process.
You know what I'm going to do, David? Is I'm going to put on this absolutely fantastic, match technical Leica SL3 bracket.
Wow.
Fully really right stuff and ARCA compatible that we also happen to sell at www.leicastarmiami.com.
Tell me more, Josh.
That's all there is to say.
It actually is a really cool.
It is really nice,
yeah.
actually, yes. All right.
Well, that's a really red stuff one.
Is it?
That's really red
Did
stuff.
I grab the? Oh,
You grabbed the
That's
wrong.
embarrassing.
Oh.
I grabbed the wrong one. Just
all right.
pretend it was the Matchstick one. That's hilarious.
Okay, so
I should have had that coffee.
Actually,
That's what
whoop,
I'm saying.
not going to do that. I want to put that up here. That one's still on, by the way.
Let me turn it off.
Okay, so do you want to show me on the camera while I do the?
Yes, yeah.
Let's switcheroosies,
All right.
and then you're going to hand it back to me.
Yes. Okay. So we'll get to the Josh overhead view. Clear up the
And,
mess
well-
a little bit. There we go.
All right, you get yours set up first, and then
Okay. Camera. Activate. Power. Okay.
there you go.
Here we have the lovely and fantastic and amazing Leica SL3 menu. Now, I have the Josh, there it is, the Josh AF and the Josh MF presets on this, so we'll go to the default so you can see what it normally
It's
looks
so
like.
Josh AF.
It's so Josh AF. So if I wanted to have photos on one of these icons, I can press and hold
And reprogram it. Yeah.
and reprogram the Leica photos.
Yep.
Voila.
Voila. Do you want to show them in the menu as well?
Yes. Or I could go into the menu.
You're driving me crazy with the.
What?
There you go.
Now it's not even more crazy.
There you go.
I can go into the menu and I can find Leica Photos. And the settings here are the same. You have the connectivity mode, enable pairing, and delete devices. Delete device is convenient when you want to really troubleshoot and start from scratch. I'll actually will delete these so that we can have a clean slate. So now you'll see that everything is blanked out because now we got to start from scratch, which is what we're going to do.
Yep.
So we're going to go to pairing. And now David is going to...
Perfect. So you come to me with the iPad. Here we go. So, yeah, I have a much easier way to see this.
Yeah. Rub it in.
The old guy. All right. So we're going to go to Photos. And right there immediately says new. I'm doing what you did.
I know.
I'm pointing right at my
It's hard to
phone.
resist, man.
It says right there, new camera found via Bluetooth, Leica SL3, add camera. And as you can see, it says connection starting, discovering. And this is a Maestro 4 processor. This is the latest and greatest hardware. It's pretty fast.
Yeah. Yeah, the slowest part is the first part because you're pairing a brand new device via Bluetooth and then pairing it over Wi-Fi. You'll see that once that initial process is done, it's much easier. So we're obviously doing this from scratch for you guys, but once you've done it the first time.
Yeah, and I'm just going to walk through here. So as you see, ready to use, continue an app. And we say yes, just basically agree to everything. So it says, I give up rights to my firstborn child,
That's right.
agree.
Agree.
Again, accessory network joined, gives you a little notification. And camera added. I'll say sync date and time just because why not? And we're going to continue. And now you see it is really tempting to point at the screen. And we are preparing your gallery.
So what your
Boom, done.
what's happening now? I want to mention this because the M11P that we paired had a clean memory, no images on the internal storage, and no memory card. Therefore, there was no gallery to prepare.
This one has a lot.
This is a stored demo SL3 that has a bunch of random junk on it. I did that on purpose because I wanted you to understand the difference. There is a slight delay when you pair a camera that has a bunch of stuff on either the internal storage or the installed card, because of course the app is showing you what's on there. So just there's the,
amazing.
There's the Leica store, award-winning photo right there. I love it.
Look at that.
There's that. This is like a sneak preview of. This is like so meta right now. It's like.
Ooh.
Anyway, so why don't you walk the folks at home through the features? Obviously, I've covered a lot of stuff, but you can.
Yep. So I'm going to take the camera back and I'm going to do remote.
Okay.
Oh, no, don't show
the
the map.
studio.
Oh, no.
Look at that. This is just cool. This is like the behind the scenes.
Wow.
You should put the 60 macro TL on there.
Oh, yes.
It's right there, bro.
Oh, thank you.
The amazing, fantastically sharp, and also conveniently for sale in Leica Cerami's pre-owned apartment, 60 macro TL. A lens that's as versatile as it is sharp. Use it on your SL, your CL, your TL. Use it as a paperweight. I don't care.
Do I get steak knives too?
Steak knives. Sure. There we go.
All right, now I'm going to line this guy up roughly. It looks so sharp. It's amazing.
That Leica glow. It's really,
Like a glow.
It's really apparent.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to focus by just tapping on our subject and bam, that is the beauty of autofocus.
Sweet.
It is so much, this is so much easier than it was with our M where I had to manually focus and bend over. So now this is nice and easy. I am going to change our ISO setting just like we did previously from auto. And let's change that to, come on.
You gotta want it.
I gotta want it. Let's just go to 640 is fine. Okay. And our aperture, let's take that to, let's say 7.1.
Wait, how come I can control the aperture now, but I couldn't on the M?
Because Josh, this has an electronically controlled aperture, unlike an M lens, which has a mechanically controlled aperture.
Okay.
There we go. And I'm going to take my exposure compensation. And you'll notice, unlike the M, we actually have a direct live readout for that exposure compensation. So I can dial that in precisely. I'm going to take my hands off the table because I'm shaking the...
Yeah, I know. Hands off, hands off.
Hands off. All right, I'm going to refocus real quick. And I'm just going to take the shot. And there we go. And now, like Josh said, in the lower left, you'll see the icon. I just clicked it. That is the photo we just took. And I'm going to zoom in, and oop, it's a little dusty.
It's okay.
But you can see,
So crisp.
so crispy, lots of detail. And I love, even without downloading the full image, I really love how I can see. I mean,
Well, hold up the iPad just so the camera, so you're just like, turn around so they can see. Like, it's
Okay.
so cool to see it like that. It's
ooh, mirrored. Right. So just the you know, what you would normally do is pinch to zoom or drag around, and it's backwards. It's very challenging. Yeah, so that allows you to really check focus critically and say, okay, well, yeah, I was looking to get that in focus, but you know, I didn't get the made in Germany. Let me see if I can refocus on that element. So I can go in and I could refocus. I can try. I'm going to refocus here, take the shot again, and again, pop right here in the corner. And now, look at that.
ooh,
Look at
nice-
that.
Nice job.
Okay, so now the made in Germany 26 joules is super, super, super sharp. And this would, yeah, I mean, it's a great tool. And just like we did before, if I X out of this by clicking the X in the upper right corner, I'm going to go back to our gallery.
And you can
on
see
the
that
camera, right here.
the Photos app on the iPad
It's bigger.
looks a little different than the iPhone, which is one of the reasons we wanted to demonstrate it for you guys.
Yeah. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to download this, and I'm going to download the raw file. It says it's 36 megabytes. I'm going to say sure.
But wait, David, why is it so small?
Because, Josh, there's a different compression algorithm used on SL and Q
No,
Oh, I'm sorry. Also because
you failed.
I failed. Oh my gosh. All right, I'm done.
That's
I'm
right.
done. I'm
So
done.
walk off the
We're looking for a new host.
That's right.
Right. Because we have because we have a TL lens
There you go.
on there, and it is shooting in crop mode right now. Okay, so this is not the full resolution, not 60 megapixel, but it's pretty darn good. And we're going to go here to our Leica gallery, and there we go. This one is the one we just took, and you can see it's 923, it's 925, and now I can zoom in and get the full effect. Now I'm going to go in and tap the Lightroom icon, which is on the top row. You can't see, but Lightroom icon right there. Leica Photos wants to open Lightroom, and there we go. So it immediately brought it over, and I can now start editing.
Sweet.
And let's just do like a really quick and dirty.
That's pretty cool. I have to admit I haven't tried this, but it doesn't really get any easier than that, does it? You just shoot it, download it, and you can download it automatically.
And look, I can apply a curve.
Ooh, get fancy.
I am getting fancy.
I like it.
So
That's art right there.
there we go.
If only that watch was available for sale. Oh wait, you can buy that. Okay.
Right, and then yeah, we could do a little vignette. So I mean, this is really like just super quick. And look, we could tone it a little bit. Like, I mean, immediately now. Do you like the toning or not?
10 out of 10. This is great.
You love that?
It's so real.
It's like a sepia tone.
There
All
we
right.
go.
And now we are done. So I'm just going to say back.
Well, there's the top left.
And there it is. All right.
Wait.
So I think I have to actually export it. Say I'm going to save a copy to device. Okay. So we're saving the copy. No, I'm not sharing with a friend right now.
I love it.
Okay. And we're going to go back to Photos app. Camera's not connected. Oh, no. Now, interestingly, that's our original still because we sent it to Lightroom.
Correct. Yeah, this is one of the sort of things to understand about the gallery view in the Photos app is it's showing you images that you've downloaded from your Leica cameras. However, it still is just an album on your phone or your iPad, so you can either access other albums from the app or just drop images into it. So it's not like you can't access them.
Right, but
As
you can
David
see, as I'm in Lightroom right now, you can see I have my original DNG and I have that copy as well. So it didn't actually re-import that copy. It's now in Lightroom, not in Leica Photos.
Yeah.
Those are two separate things. But from here, we can, you can share if you want.
Well, and if you export it as a JPEG into your...
It is
okay,
right
so
now.
now we go back to the Photos app. And if you go here...
Here.
That one. Oh, wait, no. I'm pretty sure you can show... I was doing this on the iPad earlier. Hold on.
Okay.
I was going to press buttons until I figured out.
Sure, pressing buttons. You want
Yeah. Hold on.
it? Here you go.
Well, you go back to us. That's okay.
Yeah.
I could have swore I saw this the other day, but maybe I'm losing my mind.
We're working on it. If anyone knows Lightroom Mobile.
I think what I have to do is... Hold on. Go to...
I just put my foot on the thing and it's like...
Okay, let's see.
All right. While Josh is figuring that out, Jose, do we have any questions that we can get to?
Yeah. Somebody just said, my impression with the SO3 is that the app has to build a gallery every time you reconnect the SO3 to the app.
Yes.
You got
Not
it?
just the first time when you
I have already given like a feedback on that, which is, I just think that's a design flaw, to be straight up. I don't agree with that, so...
Do you want to show them how you imported it?
Yeah. Oh, so sorry. I wanted to make sure that works. So
Yeah.
there is, when you install the Photos app and start using it on your phone, it creates a gallery inside of your, it's also called the Photos app, but
Yes. But with a PH.
the PH Photos app, the core Photos app on your device.
Apple Photos.
So if you go to Apple Photos here, and we go to our albums, you'll see there's one, you can't see it because Jose is not showing it.
Jose, show the iPad. There you
There's
go.
an album called Leica.
Well, wait, go back. Go back. To
Okay.
show them the photos. There. The Apple Photos.
Right. No. All right. So so I'm in my Apple Photos view, and if I go to my Leica album, I can see the same thing I would see by looking at the Leica gallery in the Photos app. the difference here is I can now add photos to this album. So for example, if I take this photo of
CPU one, yeah.
one that's not in there already, like this one, I can add this, add to album, Leica, and now if I go to the Photos app, you can see it's should be in here somewhere.
It's by date.
Oh, that's that's annoying. Okay, clearly there it is.
Sorry, I saw that one.
It's a very old photo. So I want to get to the coolest thing because it's 9:30 already.
Yeah, but show this here. So I just want to show that one again.
Right, but I want to get to the coolest thing you can do with the app, which is
let's get there.
Which is this.
Yep. Okay. So
before we run out of time.
Yep. So here we go. Jose, here I am. Okay, yeah. So now we're looking at that photo, and you can see this is now a processed from the raw. The edit took me 30 seconds?
Yeah, pretty fast. Yeah.
And it just drag. What looks good, and now it's like an antique watch photo.
Yeah. I mean, you normally wouldn't bring this into the Photos app gallery, right? Because the Photos app gallery is really just there to then do something with the photos from there.
Like what we're about to do right now.
Well, no, not that. What I'm saying is the Photos app gallery is there so you can share and export. The only time you would bring a photo not taken with a Leica, meaning an edited photo or an iPhone photo or whatever, is for the thing we're about to show you.
Yes.
So let's talk about the coolest camera on the table, which is this one. This is the Leica Sofort 2. This particular amazing looking one is the Leica Sofort 2
what did you top
Burden Edition. Show a top-down view, bro.
Well, here's a regular Sofort 2.
Okay.
Which is very fingerprint.
Give me all toppy-downy, Mr. Jose. Look at that. Sweet. You'll become a better snowboarder if you buy this camera. I guarantee it. That is a prime. That's not.
Even if you don't snowboard, you'll know how to snowboard.
Oh my goodness. Okay,
this is a regular.
This is the regular Sofort, the regular one in black. So these are awesome. Now, what we would like to show you, because we are rapidly running out of time, is why the Sofort is so cool. So what Dave is going to do, he's going to connect the Sofort to the iPad, and we're going to show you what it can do.
Let's do it.
I'm going to turn it on, and I'm going to show you how that works. Oh, I need this lens cloth. It's so dirty. I'm so sorry. There we go. Oi, nice. Okay. Menu. Like a photos. Pair device.
Ready?
Versus is going to ask me, because you can only pair one device at a time. Oops. Converti, do you want to overwrite pair device? Yes, I do, because I'm pairing it to a new device. Go. Okay. Please launch the Leica Photos app for pairing. Now you have to do it with the plus button. Yeah, so go to the iPad. Go to the iPad.
iPad. I got to show you this. Okay, here we go. Ready?
Jose, there we go.
Okay, so it doesn't show automatically. The Sofort doesn't, because it definitely does not have a Maestro processor. Okay. So right above where you see SL3, you see cameras and a plus sign. I'm going to click that plus sign. And it's not an S. It's not an SL. It's not an M. It's not a Q. It's not a TL. It's not a CL. It's not a Deluxe. Not a Velux. Not
really
a
got all the cameras in there.
The last one. Okay. It is a Sofort. And right here it says, let's go pair. I'm going to say yes.
Look how fast that was.
Camera found and connect.
That's the only fast part. Everything else takes more time.
And Bluetooth pairing request, yes. And camera added.
That was pretty fast.
That was pretty fast. Next.
This is like the little instructional screen you get when you first pair it. Okay.
Done. And now it's connecting.
So right now it paired the Bluetooth, and now it's getting on the Wi-Fi.
Wow, that was pretty fast. Yeah, okay.
So now we can do remote control if we want.
Wow, there's always...
Go to remote control.
Well, these are actually pictures... I'm just going to show. These are pictures on the Sofort 2 memory. Why? You're looking at Josh. There you go. These are
looking at Josh.
These are pictures that you can see on the Sofort 2, either on the internal memory or on the micro SD card in our case. And these are just pictures that we took in the store. Notice they do look... This is a different interface than Leica provides with the, let's get the mainline cameras. So it's kind of cool. They're little frames you can see. I guess we could select that.
No, we want to pick the watch.
Oh, okay. We're going to pick the watch.
The whole point of this exercise.
So now, yeah. So the thing is, while I can print anything that's on the camera memory, I can also print anything within the gallery. And the only thing I don't like about this is that it is sideways.
Well, you have to actually edit the photo.
Right. So here I'm going to go to the Leica gallery, click here, and we're going to go to the edit. Nope, the edit.
Well, you have to, yeah. The way to do this is a little more planning. Ours is a little, no.
Yeah,
that's
that's the looks.
Just print it the wrong way for now.
I'll just print it the wrong way.
We don't want to waste the viewer's time. But the Sofort prints vertical, and this is a horizontal image, so that's the point.
So we're gonna go here.
Well, he's gonna wait. He's gonna press print.
You ready for this?
Yes.
Print photo. Sending photo to camera. What's gonna happen, Josh?
I don't know. Things are happening.
What's gonna happen?
It's thinking.
What is it thinking about?
It's thinking about why you think it's a huge file. It's almost done.
I sent an SL3 file.
Yeah, I know, right? It is not happy at us.
And here it goes. It's like, I'm sorry, request failed.
Let's hope not.
I don't know. This is interesting. Yeah.
It's going. It just takes
It's printing, right? Yeah. So you can see the little spinny thing. There we go. And look, like it's going. And look at the animation. Come on. Wow.
That's beautiful.
And look,
it has to develop.
Share this memory with your friends?
I don't have any friends.
No, I'm gonna say no. But yeah, you could. So give me the print.
Well, it's gonna develop.
I mean, no, it looks perfect the way it is. Look at that.
Very overexposed.
How amazing does that look?
So this is one
You can come back to the main view here.
the coolest reasons to own a Sofort, because the Sofort can print any image in your Leica Photos app gallery.
Yes.
Now let's backtrack. The Leica Photos app gallery contains any photo you've downloaded with the Leica Photos app, but also exists as a regular album on your iOS Photos albums, and you can add any image you want to it. An image you took with your iPhone, an image you took with some other camera, whatever you want. As long as you add it to the Leica album in your iOS Photos app, not the Leica Photos app, it will show up in the Leica Photos app gallery, and you just press print once you connect to the Sofort. So this is an insanely powerful tool. For example, I'll be at a car show, got the SL3, got my vintage 50 Summilux on there, polarizer, I'm doing my sweet photos. I get a photo of someone's car that I think is really good. I quickly download it to the Photos app because I've already got it paired, right? I'm already good to go. Download it to the Photos app, tweak it a little bit in Lightroom or Photoshop Mobile, which is what I like. Save that JPEG, throw it into the Photos gallery, the Leica Photos gallery, connect to the Sofort, which is already connected because I've already paired it once. So I just turn the Sofort on, it's connected, press print, and I come back to those people with their car and I give them a little Polaroid instant whatever print from their car. But instead of being like a quirky, funky, blurry instant camera picture, it's like this crazy good, high quality professional photo from a real camera. They're like, oh my goodness, how did you do this? And it is a fantastic marketing tool. It's a fantastic way to just bring a smile to somebody's face. Nobody throws away a picture like that. This is like, it just becomes like a cherished memento.
Right.
And I think that's so cool that pretty much any camera, as long as you can get the photo onto your phone or tablet and put it into the Photos gallery, you can print it on the Sofort.
And then you get a picture. Still not quite there, but yeah.
We're getting there. Jose, could you be kind enough to drop a link to the amazing collection of Soforts that Leica Store Miami has to offer, including, but not limited to, the incredibly beautiful Leica Burton Edition, limited edition Leica Sofort 2.
Wow.
Which is absolutely gorgeous.
Wow.
And will make you a better snowboarder, guaranteed, or your money back. That's not real. Not a real guarantee.
That's not a guarantee.
So the Sofort is kind of like this creative glue that ties together all of the Leica cameras. And that's thanks to the power of the Leica Photos app. It is not still on.
Oh, turn it on. I am curious. I want to try. Although it's on this one, isn't it? It is on that one.
What are you trying to do?
I want to print.
Compare it to this one.
Yeah.
We'll show how we do it again.
Perfect. I want to pair it to there.
Okay. And
I want to print a picture of Oscar.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go back to here, let's go to the toppy-downy view again.
Toppy-downy view there.
Toppy-downy view. We're going to go to Leica Photos. This is we're doing it on the Burton Sofort now. We're going to pair device. Please launch photo. Now, this is the first time I've paired something to the Burton, which is why I didn't ask.
And now you can come to me with the iPhone, Jose. Ooh, that screen needs a little cleaning. Clean that screen. Okay. Yeah, so now I've got the M11P in here because we paired it. I'm going to click the plus icon, and I'm going to scroll all the way over to the Sofort. select Sofort, continue, and it's found. We're going to connect again. This is all pretty quick. Pair.
Black is out of stock. Yes, we sold out of black today at the Leica store. We'll have more next week.
And next. Cool.
Yeah, this is just the little intro. Like, here's what you can do, like marketing.
Because it's the first time we're pairing.
Yeah.
On both.
We'll show you how to get back into it.
You can see it's pretty quick. So choose to print. I love that. Okay, so let's pick this cute little picture of Oscar, and I'm going to print the photo. Boom!
Boom. I have sound turns on this one, so
I love that.
A little ping sound.
All right, and I'm going to hold it this time.
Okay.
And you can see the
thinking. Normally it's much faster, but obviously it has to absorb a very large photo compared to the like 5 megapixel or whatever images.
Well, that was pretty. This one's pretty quick. This was pretty. Yeah. This one's printing fast.
Okay. Well, that's a little bit lower res, I guess. So okay. Sweet.
All right, here we go. And look at the split screen view. You see the picture coming up, and there it goes.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, that way is white.
Yeah, there you go.
Look at that. Amazing. Done. So how long did that take total for us to...
There's a timer on the show.
Yeah, for us to actually pair a Sofort that we didn't have paired and print a photo, I don't know, a minute maybe?
Yeah.
And the thing is, you'll already have it paired.
Right. You have to remember, we're showing you the from scratch pairing process. The reality is you own the cameras, you pair them, and there we go. And they're already paired. So you just turn them on and the Bluetooth the app talks to the camera and they're paired. And then you can do anything you want. So
Josh, I got this for you.
Thank you so much. I will cherish this for at least the next 19 minutes till the show is over. So again, you could imagine the potential that exists for a camera like the Sofort 2. Yes.
I mean, I'm keeping this one.
You could use it self-contained and shoot images with the Sofort and print them at your heart's content. That's totally fine. That's one of the fun reasons to take the camera out. But you bring it out in conjunction with another Leica camera, any camera, as long as you can get the images onto your iPad or your iPhone, you can send them to the Sofort 2 and print them. So
yeah, I love this.
Awesome.
And this does have an internal battery, so there is you can't carry extra batteries. It has a little USB-C port in the bottom. And on a full charge, it'll do 100 prints, which is a lot.
It's pretty good. Yeah, there's 10 shots in each pack, so that's a lot.
It's more than you'll ever use.
Yeah, and if you want to charge it, it's just USB-C. So same as all the other cameras, you can plug it in, no problem.
I think this is really cool when you're, going on a kind of like a cultural trip. So for instance, I actually had an attendee on our Japan workshop and took some pictures with his Q and SL and sent like 2 or 3 of his favorites into the Photos app and then sent them to the Sofort of a Buddhist monk that we photographed at a monastery. And on our way out the door, as a thank you, it's like, thank you, and here's some pictures. And he gave him portraits of, this gentleman that we photographed. So I could see doing this on any kind of, cultural trip where if you take a nice shot of, a couple on the street, you could think, oh, if you got a minute, here, I'll make you a print. And you don't have to wait for it to develop. You could just hand them the undeveloped print. And even you want to see fun, you have to tell them to shake it.
You're not supposed to shake it.
You don't have to, you have to shake it. But you can see there's our little Oscar the Bear.
So yeah, I mean, this is really the fun part of the Sofort experience. And I almost feel like the whole point of this episode is almost to get you familiar enough with the Photos app and the workflow to get a Sofort and be able to do this, because this is cool. And I have found a million different ways that this is fun. And for me and other people too, like who just are overjoyed with this cute little print that you give them.
Yeah, here, you could do a top-down view on my side, Jose. And they're mostly developed.
Look at that.
The bear's got a little more to go,
That's right. He's still marinating.
But look at that.
That's so cool.
And it looks like a little vintage, whatever styling.
Yeah, so remember, that's a photo that David edited. So he shot it
Yep.
DNG with the SL3. He imported it into the Photos app. He exported it from the Photos app into Lightroom. He edited it in Lightroom. We exported it out of Lightroom as the JPEG, and then imported the JPEG back into the Photos app. As complicated as that sounds, it took about 3 minutes.
Right.
And you do it all on the iPad. There's no other tools you need. It's all the stuff that's already there, the stuff that you're using.
So you can see there's the photo on the iPad, and there's the photo on the print.
Look at that.
Look at that.
So cool.
It's cool, right?
Okay, now I think we've got a little bit of time.
Woo!
Do some questions, and we should show the Deluxe 8 at the very least. I apologize we can't show everything because I guess we are too loquacious. But yes, you also.
Oh, boy.
Just you less.
Me less.
Anyway, take us, or let's do some questions if there are any, Jose, and then we'll do the Deluxe 8s.
Okay.
Well, the only one we didn't actually do is the Q.
Or the Deluxe 8.
I mean, I'm saying.
But we could probably
we
do,
could do the-
we have time.
Because we're not going to run through everything, so it's pretty fast.
All right. I have a question that says, are the galleries from the apps on the phone and the iPad synced?
No, the galleries are only synced via your iCloud. So I guess
If you're in the same, these are not on the same account.
if they're the same iCloud account, yes, they will be synced.
This is a work iPad, not my email, and this is my personal phone. So these don't have the same photos in them. And that's why you're seeing a difference between the Lightroom gallery. You're seeing a difference between the Photos app and also my photos, the Apple Photos.
Yeah.
So if this is it's an unusual case, right? Most people would have their own iPad and their own iPhone. So yes, everything would be synced between them. The Photos galleries are synced and the Apple Photos galleries are synced. And their Lightroom galleries are synced.
Yeah.
Everything's synced.
It's all synced. What else?
Okay. How to get Leica looks with DNGs in Photoshop?
You can't.
No.
Leica looks are JPEG specific, and they either can be imported into the Maestro 4 cameras, SL3s, or Q3s, or their variations, or applied to JPEGs only inside of the Photos app. That's it.
If you want a feature request. All right. Now, there is something that I think we should start with the Q.
Sure.
Because there is a unique display feature in there
Okay.
specific to the crop modes.
Show the people
So
what they want.
We should do that. Can I stick with the iPads?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. What's new in calendar?
Why
I
is
don't know.
calendar?
I don't know.
We're just pressing buttons left and right over here.
Pressing buttons. All right, here we go. So I'm going to do the Q343 right here.
There we go.
Yep. So I'm going to do the same thing. As you recall, let's do a quick top-down view again. Cool.
Stuff everywhere.
Yeah, there's shiny.
Give us a mess here.
All right, and I'm going to go again right there. We've got that. Thank you. We've got the pairing icon. Say pair. And I'm going to go to the iPad this time around. And right there, I mean, you actually...
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
That's better. Yeah.
But you can see it. It said found by a Bluetooth. I'm going to say add camera like Q343. This one happens to be very, very quick because it's one of the more recent cameras. So you'll find it's sort of a direct relationship. The newer the camera, the faster the pairing process.
Yeah, each generation gets faster, smoother,
Yeah.
easier to use, which is awesome.
Yep. Perfect. And there it is. Set up. New an app.
Nice.
And
again, we're making it hard on ourselves because we're pairing all these cameras from scratch. Once you own them and you pair them the first time, you're good. You're good until you repair them if there's a major firmware update or whatever else. How are we doing over there?
doing great.
Okay, good.
Perfect. Don't sync. Continue. Here we go. Connecting to the camera. And I'm going to shoot the back of this watch again using the super cool macro function. And I'm going to go to the remote. So that was actually pretty fast. And we're going to try to focus. That's pretty close, right? Yeah, I think we got it. Let me change the framing a little bit.
Slightly. Oh, there we go. Better.
How's that look? Now, what I wanted to show is you'll notice when I'm on the camera here, I can either, I'm touching the back of the camera, the physical button. So it is changing on the app as well, as you can see here. Or I can go in the app and I can select the zoom. You can't see it really, but there's a little thing that says 60 right now above the shutter button. And I'm clicking that to change the digital zoom. So here I'm going to go to 75. Let me reframe a little bit. And what I love is the ability to frame it up. And we're going to look at that again. Where did it go? There it is. Okay, now let's zoom in and see how we did. That's pretty nice, right? So that's the Q343 in macro mode. I think that looks pretty darn good, right?
So clear.
It's a little warm though. So if we wanted to change the white balance, we can do so again using the little hamburger. And instead, it's called the hamburger menu, bro. Come on.
I'm just making me hungry now.
I know. And then instead of auto white balance, because I have it in a daylight light box, I'm going to say daylight. And I'll take the shot again. And we'll look at the revised photo. Here we go. Oh, that looks much better. But, I mean, it is shockingly good. So, yeah, this is a great tool. And again, to see the, you know, something this big as you're shooting is just so much more pleasant to use than using the rear screen.
Yeah, in a controlled studio environment or just anywhere where the camera is fixed somewhere on a tripod or doing landscape, you're just basically having a big, giant, high-resolution viewfinder that's also acting as your remote focus control and remote shutter release.
Yeah. Now, I do want to show as well because, well, that's 75. I'm going to set this back. I'm so inclined to do it on the camera. Okay, I'm going to just do it on the camera here. Go back to remote mode, and you notice this is full screen view. And the reason I want to do this is I do want to demonstrate a full resolution 60 megapixel image in DNG and how long that takes to transfer wirelessly. So let's take this image. I know it's not, you know, cropped the way we want to do it.
That's okay.
Okay, and I'm going to take it here, and I am going to download this in DNG. And you notice now it's 75 megabytes. So a little bit bigger. And here we go. We are downloading, and it's done. So the Q3 tends to be very, very fast in terms of image download. Whoop, I did not mean to do that. Close that right there. And sorry, I cannot see the screen in the glare.
There we go.
Okay, so you can see that there's a little white download icon on that particular one. So that is fully downloaded, and that is our raw file. So as we zoom in on this, we're looking at pixel for pixel image. And I am going to go to our Leica. I swiped in the wrong place. I'm going to go to our Leica gallery, and I'm going to bring up that image that we downloaded in the white background. That means on the device. Black means on the camera, just like Josh said. I'm going to go to Lightroom. It opens instantaneously. Again, I'm going to just apply a kind of a quick edit here, bring the exposure down, and let's say I want to crop it here. Well, okay, no problem.
Just to interrupt for a second, Sandy, the gallery is just called Leica. If you search, we'll do it on my own phone here. If you go to, I know Leica makes it hard on the new Photos app to find anything, but if you just go to your albums list and find the one called Leica, it could be at the end.
Here we go.
That's going to be where all of your Photos app images are going to live.
Perfect. Okay. So there we go. And let's just do a quick white balance. If we want to do select, you know, we could do a click white balance. We can do a click white balance. Ish. We can try to do a white balance.
We use Lightroom Mobile all the time.
Clearly.
That's why I like Photoshop Mobile. But,
yeah, okay. No problem. No problem. There we go.
Ooh, look at that.
Yeah, that's not the best. So let's just do it.
The strap.
Just do daylight. There we go. Perfect. Okay. So that is a quick and dirty edit in Lightroom. And we're done. And all we have to do is save this, and we are good to go.
Yeah, the idea here that is, again, the Photos app, the Leica Photos app, is giving you the ability to both control the camera and then download the images from the camera. But inside of the Photos app, once you've downloaded them, there's not much you're really doing other than viewing them. If you want to do any editing or sharing, that's all happening externally. So you're either using the share button to immediately text, email, social media-fy the image from the app, or editing it in your app of choice.
Okay, so now I just want to go back and just to be clear. So what I did this time, instead of just saving a quick copy, I exported it. I don't know if you were following along on the iPad. I exported it, and now what I can do is I can add it to a shared album.
Not a shared album, just add it to an album.
Isn't it the shared album?
No.
Oh, add it to... Doop.
I don't think you can do it there.
Really?
Yeah, you have to just save it to your...
Yeah,
just save it.
Save it to the device photos.
Well, this is actually important to show. So go to Photos and find it, and it should be at the end, right?
Yep.
There we go. Nope. Too far down. Find it. You have to just, there's like these favorites here that are kept. Right there. There we go.
But that's
So now-
not that's the raw file.
Oh, did you export it?
I did export it. Somewhere. Here.
Oh,
That's
there it
it.
is.
Yep. Okay,
Oh,
perfect.
that looks sick, actually.
Yeah, that looks pretty good.
Okay, so if you want to see the edited version inside of the Photos app, the only reason you would do that is to print it on the Sofort. David's going to hit the share button on the bottom left. He is then going to do add to album. He is then going to find the Leica album. Now, in this case, this is a brand new iPad, or pretty new, so it doesn't have a lot of albums already. So he just added it to the album called Leica, which is the same thing that you see when you open the Photos app and look at the on-white album. Same exact thing. It's simply giving you the ability to add images externally, that's all.
And it is.
It's there. Right there.
Nope. That's the DNG.
Oh, wait. Here, no, it's right here.
Ah, there it is. Okay, perfect.
Sorry.
Yep.
It's hard to do this in our giant studio lights. I apologize. You want to connect to the Sofort? All right, let's do it.
Yeah.
Turn it off. Turn it back on.
Let's do it one more time.
Okay. So we're going to go back into our app.
Yep. Well, we are in the app.
Oh, go back to the. Just
I'm
go
gonna
to the Sofort.
Yep. So I'm just going to click. Oh, actually, bring up. Sorry. That's good to see when you reconnect. So what I did is I just clicked on Sofort 2.
I don't know which Sofort that was. We have two of them.
That was that one. It was that one.
Oh, okay. See, we're doing it just. We didn't look.
Or was it
We
the
didn't
burden?
actually check. Well, it could be either. It might have been the burden. Let's see.
Yeah, could not connect.
Which serial number?
797.
Oh, that's why.
Yeah,
That's the other
perfect.
one. Yep.
Okay, there we go. Ready?
Yep.
So we're going to reconnect to the camera.
Yeah, but that's a great example of why
And
you
now
need
it's
to
done.
look at the serial number because we have two of them.
Right, now it's done. And this time I'm just, bring up big so we can see here. There we go. So it came up really quickly. I'm going to say there. Now it's actually the right formatting. So I purposely made it a vertical so we could print on the Sofort. And
Nice.
I'm going to say print photo.
So cool.
Okay, so I know we're kind of like, oh, I did not mean to do that.
Breaking stuff left and right. Doing great.
It's still sending, so I didn't damage anything.
We're okay. We're okay.
We're gonna survive. We're gonna survive.
This is the longest and most elaborate Sofort 2 advertisement I've ever seen.
I think it's cool.
I
Though.
know, I agree
really
with you.
think
I
it's
do
cool.
this all the time. I was just in Europe and I brought an SL3
Oh, look,
and a Sofort 2 for this exact reason.
things are happening.
Things are happening.
Whee. There we go. So cool, right?
Nice. Okay, let's finish the show with questions if there are any. There's obviously a ton that we didn't cover. We got a little bit more in the weeds than we maybe needed to, but it was
Shocking.
important for us to show the workflow. I think now that we've done the Photos app episode, it'll be a lot easier for us to dive into quick Photos app things going forward.
Yeah, Jose, I don't think we need the iPad. We can see you though. Where are you?
Jose's chilling.
Jose's hiding behind the iPad. Did you see that?
Yeah.
He was in the iPad.
He was in the iPad this whole time. So I think now we can more easily refer to the Photos app, give Photos app tips and tricks, and answer Photos app questions on future episodes. I don't know if this iPad is going to live in the studio, but if not, we can have it here when we do episodes. So we can use that input that we have to
Yeah,
to
for
show
sure.
it. So that I think that really this was like just the first step in what are giving us the ability to support the Photos app on the show and address it and talk about it and ask questions about it. But speaking of questions, let's wrap up with any that are
Any lingering questions?
Well, we just got that one at the end there. Do you know if Leica works closer with Apple or Adobe?
Adobe.
Yeah, definitely Adobe. Yeah.
I mean, they do work with Apple because they are. I mean, they actually are Apple MFI certified, which is made for iOS. I don't know if any other camera brands are actually MFI other than Leica.
I have no idea. Probably
they are?
Probably. Yeah.
That enables that direct connection that we can't show you because we are occupying the
That's right.
one expansion slot. One.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, it's Apple reasons.
Yeah.
You will never need more than one USB-C port. Except in this case, we need another one.
That's right.
Yeah, and look, another print.
I think we have a question here, maybe just to end it. Where do you envision photos taking us in the future?
Oh, sure. That's a good question. I mean,
Some of our wish list items.
yeah, I think some of the things we mentioned, like having the gallery tweak would be nice. I don't know what more. I'm trying to think what more I would want.
I mean,
from the
I
app.
have some certain suggestions I made. For instance, I would love there to be maybe a little more on the video side. You can use it for live video shooting. We didn't demonstrate that, but you can. And I would love to be able to load, same way you do Leica looks, I would like to be able to do different LUTs and actually be able to edit a LUT using like a visual editor like we have for Lightroom, and then save that as a LUT and load it into the camera footage.
I think it'd be cool to have the ability to save your user profiles in the Photos app.
That would be amazing.
Especially as you can increase the number of profiles you have. You can back them up. I'm sure that feedback's been given to Leica already, but that's something I think I would like to see.
I would like that too.
You know, they've come so far in a short amount of time that it's a little almost dizzying to see just how much control we have over the cameras now with the app. And it's only going to get better over time. But definitely, make a feature request, report your bugs, like let Leica know they value that feedback because that's how they make the app better.
Sure.
So cool. Remember to buy you have to buy the film. You can't just buy the Sofort. You have to buy the film that goes with it.
It's an analog print, man. Analog print.
All right, you want to sign us off?
Look.
That's so cute.
Look at that. I'm keeping that one. That one's cool. Yeah. So hopefully you learned something about the Photos app. It'll be interesting to see if you've learned something new, especially for those of you who are already using the Photos app. If you picked up any unique knowledge from Josh's brain, downloaded into your mind via the app.
That's
obviously.
Right.
Obviously. Yeah, we'd like to, I'm just going to re-encourage everyone. If you have an idea, sure, leave it in the comments on our video, but also utilize the function in the app. Do you want to show them where it is, where they can leave feedback?
Yeah. I need your face. Thank you. Can we get the...
Nice to be wanted.
In the iPhone, here we go. On the main page of the Photos app, so not when you're in any of the cameras, there's a little gear icon on the top right. If you click on that, you have the ability to sign in with your Leica account, change the editor to using for photos, but more importantly, make a feature request or contact customer support. So this is where you have that function. It's really easy to get to. It just opens up an email and you can reach out and either get help or request a feature.
And they really do actually read, they told us, they read every single one. I don't know if they reply to them, but they definitely
read them.
They do, and they keep track. So they said, oh, we've been getting that feature request a lot, and that's next on our list. So they are very well aware of it, and the team is extremely responsive to customer feedback. So there's a reason they put that in the app. They want to hear from you. They want to make the app better and make our lives challenging by not being up to date anymore. So that is the typical way. But as you can see, it's definitely gotten better. I remember when Photos first came out, it was very, very bare bones, and it was not super stable. It would lose connection. It would have a difficult time reconnecting to cameras. Part of that has been hardware updates over the years to include the Bluetooth LE and more stable, like MIMO beamforming Wi-Fi. But basically, it's a whole holistic approach across Leica, just to reiterate that. So you should try it out. If you haven't downloaded Photos, download it.
It's free.
You do have to have a Leica camera.
Not to download the app.
To use it.
Fine.
Okay, yeah. If you have a Leica camera, the app is free of charge. Nothing. There's no add-on. There's no in-app purchases. It is totally free. It also gives you a way to geotag all your photos, which is fantastic if you want to do that. It allows you to sync date and time for world travel, which is also great. Josh doesn't like it, but if you are jumping around time zones a lot, it's super nice because your phone's always going to be set to the right locale. And it's just a lot of fun, especially if you kind of mix and match and you have different cameras. You can use them all with the Photos app. You can print with the Sofort. And we didn't really show the sharing as much, but you can share directly on Instagram. You can share directly with friends and family, show them where you are. And instead of, loading a crappy phone picture, you can send them a real photograph.
That's right.
With a real camera.
That's right.
So yeah, that's about it. Big thanks, as always, to Josh. Thanks to Jose. We got some new camera angles and tech going on here, so a little bit to manage. And of course, thanks to you guys for tuning in on your valuable Saturday night or whenever you are watching this. If you missed this, you can catch us anytime. We have the full episodes are archived in glorious 4K. You should subscribe to Red Dot Forum. If you like the video, like it.
Yeah,
Be sure to comment, yes.
if you are going to be at the LSI
that too.
meeting, the spring shoot in Charleston in 2 weeks,
That's
David and I will be
Wow.
doing a live Red Dot Forum camera talk in Charleston. It will not be streamed. It will not be recorded. If you want to experience all the magic, gotta be there. I don't think there's any spots.
That one's in the Faraday cage, so there's no signals.
That's right.
Yes.
We're confiscating all electronic devices prior to the beginning of that. That's going to be awesome. We look forward to seeing a lot of you there.
Lit by candlelight. Yeah. Not really. No. It's going to be a great episode. Live talk. We hope you can join us there. If you're already planning on going to Charleston, we'll see you there. We're really looking forward to it. It's always exciting to get heckled in person rather than over the internet.
So much more fun.
It's so much more fun. And also, just I guess we don't really say it that much, but if you want to support the channel, you like the work that we're doing, we love that you subscribe. We like that you like the videos. We are climbing in subscriber count, but the best way to show your support is to think about making your purchases, your Leica purchases at Leica Store Miami. That's what keeps the lights on and the cameras rolling. So unfortunately, you can't really make a living through YouTube. I mean, some people do, but we can't. We're doing this for free. So check out Leica Store Miami. We've got a great selection of new, used Leica products, all the cool accessories, and we also do amazing workshops all around the world. So check us out at leicastoremiami.com. There's a link in the description below. I think that is entirely too much words for one night, so we are going to sign off and leave the rest of the weekend to you. Again, thanks to all, and thanks to you for tuning in. We will catch some of you in Charleston, and a few weeks after that, back here on YouTube. Thanks again, and see you guys then.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, guys.